Yeah, what's up everyone and welcome to my top 20 best films of 2012. And what perfect timing, because tomorrow, guess what? The Academy Awards. Hell yeah, baby. The big night for movies is coming real soon tomorrow, and we're gonna see which movies, which directors, which of course actors take home the gold. And it's a really important night for them, but it's also an important night for the audience and the movie critics that love films. So anyway, in this first part, I'm going to do number 20 to 11, and then tomorrow I'm going to do 10 to 1. But before I actually start with the list, I have to do my honorable mentions. And let me just tell you something real quick. Last year, I went to the theater and watched a lot of movies, just in general, on DVD, in the theater, just in general. I saw so many movies, maybe over 100. So I saw so many, and I saw so many great films that it was very hard for me just to make a top 20. So this honorable mentions list is actually going to be very long. So what I decided to do is that I'm not going to talk during it. I'm just going to show you the posters, a couple seconds each, and show you what movies were great. Don't get me wrong, but they just did not make my top 20. So without further ado, let's get into the honorable mentions. And there you are. Those are the honorable mentions. I told you there was a lot of them. And don't get me wrong, they are great films, but they just did not make the cut. So, now let's talk about the top 20 with, of course, my number 20 film, the number 20 best film of 2012. Dredd 3D, which of course is the Judge Dredd movie that many people were not really looking forward to because the last one was not very good. But this one was great. It really was. It was so much fun. Carl Urban was just perfect as Judge Dredd. He really understood the character. He left his mask on the entire time. He didn't go all actor star power crazy where he just wanted to show his face and show his handsome body every 2 seconds. No, he played the character because he's a huge fan of the character. And I found the slow motion effects, all the 3D effects while in the theater when I was watching in 3D were fantastic. I found the movie itself just to be very well written at times, which I was very surprised. And it was just a bloody, just fun time with some great leads. I think Carl Urban and Olivia Thirlby were fantastic in their roles. So I really enjoyed Dredd. It's not the best movie, but it definitely is a very fun action film. Definitely go check it out. Dredd is my number 20. Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, which sadly not many people saw this in theaters, and I don't think it did well on DVD either. But this is a movie that really took me by surprise. First of all, it's very heartfelt. You really do like both of these characters, Steve Carell and Keira Knightley's characters. They're both completely different characters. Hell, I think Steve Carell in the movie is supposed to be way older than Keira Knightley's character. In real life, they're way different apart, but in the movie, they're supposed to play different aged characters, definitely. But you really do feel the bond between these two characters. And it is about the end of the world, so there's a lot of emotional impact in this film. This is not going to be a slapstick comedy. If it was just a straight up slapstick comedy throughout, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much, but I really did. I found the characters to be very endearing, the writing to be great. I thought it was very funny at times, and like I said, it's very emotional, and I really enjoyed this film. Just very good, and I can't wait to see what this director does next. So there you go. Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, definitely go check it out. It's my number 19. The Secret World of Arrietty, which, yes, this movie came out in 2012. People forgot about completely, and I think it is the best animated movie of last year because, first of all, it is 2D animation, and it is fantastic. And of course, it's Studio Ghibli. It might not be directed by Hayao Miyazaki, but it is Studio Ghibli, and it is amazing to look at. And the movie itself is actually very, very nice. It's just a very calming film. You watch this, you really like the characters, and it kind of stays in the realm of realism. I mean, sure, it's about a very small family living in the house of a kid, but it still stays in realism, as in there's no real big action scenes, there's no magical spells getting cast or anything, kind of like a lot of Studio Ghibli films. This one is more realistic, and you really do like the characters. The writing is very well done and at times can be very funny. The voice cast does a great job voicing the characters. You really do like all these characters, especially the relationship between the big kid in the house and the small girl Arrietty in the family. You really do care for both of them, and you really like the chemistry. So overall, I really enjoyed this film. It is my favorite animated movie of 2012. The Secret World of Arrietty is my number 18. Chronicle is my number 17, and this is a movie that took the found footage genre and made it inventive. It made it unique because it took a bunch of kids and gave them superpowers, and all they did was, to carry a camera with them because they have a telepathy and they can, lift things up with their mind. So they just bring cameras with them and just film themselves doing stupid stuff and like getting better with their powers and just palling around for the most part. Later on, it becomes a super villain origin story, and it becomes much more than it was in the beginning, definitely. But I love this film. I really did think it was fantastic. The two main complaints: one, it's a little too short, so that means, of course, you don't get as much character development as you should. And the other one is the girl character in this film. I said this in my review. I hated her character so much. Every time she was on screen, I just was really not liking the film. But besides those two elements, everything else was so amazing, and I loved it. Chronicle is my number 17. Definitely go check it out. The Impossible is my number 16, and it's based around the story of a family trying to survive the horrific tsunami that happened in 2004 in Thailand. And it's a very emotional story, it really is, with powerhouse performances by Naomi Watts and Ewan McGregor, and it is really an emotional and very disturbing look at what happened on that day when that tsunami hit. Many people lost their lives. You see a lot of destruction in this film. It really does sell you that. It's very emotional, and it can be extremely disturbing at times, especially when you get into Naomi Watts' character, who gets severely injured throughout this entire film. I mean, she really does. You really feel bad for her character and everybody else, and you just want to see this family get back together, because the whole plot is that they get separated, and you have to see them try to get back together. And it really is an emotional story that is very much true. Definitely go check it out when it hits DVD, or if it's at your theater right now, definitely go check it out, because it is amazing. The Impossible is my number 16. The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. And what a way to transition from The Impossible with a movie that is not even close to real. But hey, that's fine. You know why? Because The Hobbit, while many critics would not agree, is a great film. Very, very, very entertaining. And it's long as hell, and I never felt that it really slowed down at all. There's one point where it kind of got slowed, and then it went into something else, and I was like, whoa, that was amazing. And of course, it's Peter Jackson, so you know he's going to make the visuals look absolutely breathtaking with some of the best landscapes I've ever seen in a film. And it's going to have a cast of very likable and very memorable characters, and which is very surprising, seeing that this film has so many characters. Hell, just dwarves themselves, there's like 12, and you really do like all of them. I mean, sure, I can't, name each one of them, but, if I saw one, I'll be like, hey, I remember that guy, he did this in the film, and I really like that. And there's so many great set pieces, especially in the last 30 minutes. I cannot wait until the sequel. The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey is my number 15, and it's a very, very fun adventure. 7 Psychopaths, which is my number 14, is a film that I saw in theaters and I saw recently again on DVD, so I have a very clear mind of what I think of this film, and of course it's on my top 20, so I love it. I really do. It's a movie that not only gives you plenty of laugh out loud moments with just some surreal things, but it gives you emotion, which I never thought this movie was going to give me, especially since I saw the trailer and I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be a very slapstick type comedy. It's actually very smartly written. It has great payoffs for a lot of the stories that are in the actual film. There's actually plenty of little stories that have great payoffs and plenty of twists, and the characters themselves are actually really likable. Sam Rockwell, Colin Farrell, Christopher Walken, Tom Waits, and hell, even Woody Harrelson, who plays the villain, is extremely likable. So overall, 7 Psychopaths, definitely go check it out. It's a film that just made me laugh, and it didn't make me cry, but I got kind of emotional. So yeah, there you go. 7 Psychopaths is my number 14. End of Watch is my number 13, and this is a film that I kept seeing the trailer for in like almost every single movie I saw before the movie came out, and I was kind of getting sick of the trailer, but went to go see the film with high expectations because I love Jake Gyllenhaal, and I love the director David Ayer, who made Training Day, so I had a lot of expectations, and I actually really loved the film. First of all, the chemistry between Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Peña's character just felt so real. It really did. They felt like buddies. They felt like good longtime friends, and you really did care for those characters. All the side characters were great, and the actors did great jobs, but the two main characters are amazing. And just watching them patrol the streets and, you know, get deeper and deeper in a big conspiracy plot with the cartel, you just really didn't want bad things to happen. And it is a great, very suspenseful film. The thing that kind of brings it down is the found footage portion and the stereotypes, but besides that, this is a great film that any person should check out. Great performances, great chemistry, great writing, a great film. End of Watch is my number 13. Cabin in the Woods is my number 12, and this is a film, when I first saw it, I just felt so good about it. I gave it a perfect score. Now, when I saw it again, I saw some problems. It kind of rushes through some parts, and at parts it actually does become a generic horror movie, but still, even though those parts kind of brought it down a little bit more, I still love this film. It has so many great gags, so many great characters, especially the main characters, who are not supposed to be the generic horror film characters, but they do become that because the main corporation in this film want them to become like that. And it really is a great deconstruction of the horror genre, with some great gags, some great spectacle, especially in the last like 20 minutes, where it just goes insane with some of the monsters. It really does, and it is very smart and very entertaining. So I would still give it around a 9.5 out of 10. I still think this is a great film. Definitely go check it out. Cabin in the Woods is my number 12. Let the sky fall, 'cause it's my number 11. You're probably angry, it's so low. I'm sorry, I love James Bond, don't hurt me. Don't get me wrong, I do love this film. It is my number 11, and that's damn good for someone that's watched like 100 films this year. It really is an amazing James Bond film, one of my favorites. I still think Casino Royale is a little bit better. And Daniel Craig is still James Bond. He is great here, probably the best he's been. Yes, I think he's a little better in this than Casino Royale, even though I think Casino Royale is a better film. He's fantastic here. You really do like him as a character, not just as James Bond, but as a character. The action is fantastic in the film, especially that first 20 minutes is amazing, especially the cinematography in the first 20 minutes. And hell, even in that whole part that takes place in that Chinese restaurant or wherever the hell it was, is amazing. Definitely some of the best cinematography, some of the best visuals I've seen ever. And it really is an amazing looking film, well directed, extremely well acted. Everybody did a great job. My main problem with the film is that there's parts where it gets a little slow, and I wasn't a big fan of the whole Home Alone aspect at the end of the film. I didn't think that was very satisfying, but I loved the villain in this. Javier Bardem was very sinister, very, very, overacting at times, but you really do understand why he's going after MI6. So overall, I think Skyfall is an amazing film. Don't kill me. I love it. I really do. I love Skyfall. Hell, go and buy this film on Blu-ray and go buy all those other James Bond movies in that big collection that's out right now. Do it, because James Bond's amazing. So there you go. There was part 1 of my top 20 best films of 2012. Tomorrow, I'm going to finish it with number 10 to number 1. And usually I ask what your favorite movies were of 2012 and put them in the comments. This time, because it's not the top 10 yet, it's 20 to 11, tell me what your movies that just did not make your list were. Just tell me a couple of the movies that you just couldn't put on the list that you thought were great. You just couldn't put on your top 5 or top 10. But until tomorrow, thank you for listening, and goodbye.